Well, hey there. Welcome back to the People Gardener podcast. Happy to have you here this week. My mind has been going around and around about this concept of compounded interest and how that relates to you as a small business owner in building your team. Are you familiar with this process, compounding interest? If you're not, in short, basically, it's when you deposit something, an amount of money, you are paid interest. If you're paid interest annually, let's say once a year. So you put $100 in, it's at 10% interest. And after that first year, you now have $110 in your account. This next year, your interest is going to be on the 110, not just the 100. And so what that does is it accelerates the saving or the growing, let's say, of that $100. So I got thinking about it in regards to building your team and the deposits that you make as a business owner into developing your team, transforming your team into a really high functioning, happy group. How can we do that? How can we do that? I'm going to say faster, with more energy, with more fun, more enthusiasm. So it comes down to, from my perspective, is the deposits that you are making every single day. They are going to compound over time. So when you make a deposit by interacting with someone, by solving a roadblock, by giving words of encouragement, by training them in a way that they can understand rather than just training generally. There's 264-ish days in the work year. What would happen if every single day you took an action that over time would compound? Let's say that every day you decided for the next year, every single day, you were going to spend your day focused on observing and finding the good, the positive, the encouraging. And you wrote a note to that specific person about the specific action. Well, it might not be an action. What you observed that you felt really positive about, and you just put it on their desk as you walked out the end of the day. What kind of a compounded impact do you think that would have on your business? I can tell you from experience, the more you communicate with your team about where you are, what you see, what's important to you, how you view their contribution, the better off the company is. When people are not fearful about what their boss thinks of them and of their performance, the more energy they can expend on actually doing their job. I have long contended nobody should ever question where they stand. That is just cruel and unusual punishment for people. Let them know. Let them know that everything is good. Let them know that what you just saw was great. Let them know that, hey, we need to chat about this because this outcome isn't kind of what we were looking, so we need to figure it out. Don't be afraid to give them honest feedback about how they're performing. It's all positive. And when you do it with love in your heart and with care, they have no problem accepting and acknowledging what you have to say. I got thinking about this compounding. It's like, oh, if we could just figure out what is one thing that you can commit to doing for the next 264 ish work days that you know will have a phenomenal impact on your business. Brainstorm, write down some things. And let's say, okay, no, Rhonda, I don't want to do the same thing for 264 days. So I'm going to break it up and I'm going to break it up into quarterly. What am I going to do quarterly? What am I going to focus on quarterly? It's all good. It's doing something intentional and putting the deposit out there with your people and watching it explode. Because what happens is you make that deposit with them, and before long, they are talking to each other about how much they appreciated your insight, your help, your knowledge, your kindness, your interest in them as a human. And the whole tenor of the culture inside your business changes to this beautiful, collaborative, interesting, exciting place to be. Yeah, it's work. There's no question. You're the only one that can decide. Are you willing to change? Are you willing to do things differently than you have been doing because you want an outcome that is different than what you've got? We all know the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. I'm telling you, if you change what you're doing right now and institute this, and hey, let's go with quarterly. Sit down, decide, okay, we've got 4 quarters. We're in the 4th quarter of this year. So what is it? What is it that you're going to do? What are you going to be committed to doing every single day? And let's get things shifted in your company and get your team firing on all cylinders so that you've got people that step up to the plate and you will have more freedom in your business to actually get out there and dream of, what's the next product? What's the next iteration? Because you have time to do that because your team is so capable and involved in their own role that things are just firing on all cylinders. That's it for this week. We'll talk to you again next week.